My name is Russ Gordon.
For what position are you a candidate for?
I'm a candidate running for City Council of Hamtramck.
Are you a new candidate or are you seeking a re-election?
I'm a new candidate. I'm not a politician.
How long have you lived in Hamtramck?
This is my 30th year.
Okay. What is the highest level of education?
I had some graduate school. I have a degree in math and a teaching certificate for secondary education, and I started graduate school at Washington University in St. Louis, but ran out of money. That was a long time ago.
Okay. In the past and currently, what is your occupation after you graduated?
Okay, well, a number of things. I was in real estate redevelopment in St. Louis for about 20 years, restoring old 19th century homes and restoring old neighborhoods. Then I came back to Detroit, where my father lived, and he was sick at the time. And I went back into, actually, when I was very young. When I was 13, actually, on summer vacation, I started learning how to wind electric motors. I worked in motor shops for 2 summers, and so I was able to do that and had several jobs when I left home at 15. But when I got out of service in St. Louis, I stayed there, went to college, as I told you, and when I finished that, I started redeveloping old homes. Then my dad got sick. I came up to Detroit. I started an electric motor company up here, and I helped him until he passed away. And I'm still in the electrical equipment business. I have a company called Franklin Electric Corporation. We have a shop in Garden City, office in Hamtramck. We repair motors and in particular dynamometer systems. This rotating equipment that measures torque for auto manufacturers. And we have 2 teams out in the field all across North America, from Mexico to Canada, doing maintenance and calibration on dynamometer systems, which are dynamometers in a cell. They measure torque on engines, and in bigger cells on entire vehicles on rollers. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's more than you wanted to hear, but you got it all now.
Okay. In what organization, local organization, have you been active?
Well, I've done a lot of things independently, but I was chair of the Human Relations Commission for the city for quite a number of years there, and we were responsible for the International Flag Program on Joseph Campo. I've been up and down ladders on those flag poles. I've calculated well over 1,000 times putting flags up and down over the years. It's been over 10 years. And back in the early days, after I was here for a half a dozen years, I became active. They were going to close the post office here. So I organized a group, and we successfully kept the post office open. I still have the letter. They finally knuckled under and said, yeah, we will keep the post office open indefinitely. In addition to that, I've organized an international barbecue on Zenow every year with big tents, lots of children, food from all over the world under the big tent, and that was very popular. We stopped during the pandemic, and we're talking about getting it going again this year. We'll try to do that. But there have been a number of other things we've done too over the years.
Are you familiar with the general works of the city government?
Generally, yes.
Have you been attending or watching the council meetings?
I've attended a few, not many. Yeah, they tend to wear me out.
Have you been elected or appointed to any of the city positions?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, just the Human Relations Commission, yes.
In your opinion, what is the current government doing right and what are they doing wrong?
Well, I've been impressed with the improvements in infrastructure in the city. I know they were able to get some money from the state, roads, sewer systems improvements. The housing commission here, or the Department of Public Service, whatever, that's responsible for inspecting and maintaining residential homes. I've noticed a significant upgrade in the condition of homes in general in Hamtramck, and I'm impressed with that. The city took a dive back there a few years ago, pandemic and what have you, and we lost an awful lot of businesses on Joseph Campo, and I noticed they're filling up. There are more coming back, and some of them are a higher caliber than what we had before. I'm impressed with that. What I don't like about the current city government is the reason I'm running. Like I told you before, this is my 30th year here. 31 years ago, I lived in an upscale high-rise on the riverfront. It's really nice. Fireworks I could see, a downtown view. I was on the upper floor of the building, swimming pool, gated guard. But that's the whole problem, was it was too separated. You don't meet your neighbors. I wanted a real neighborhood, like I'd been used to back in St. Louis. So I found Hamtramck, and I've never looked back. I moved here 30 years ago, and I absolutely love this town. But I'm ashamed of it right now. I'm ashamed of what the city government has turned into. In the 30 years I've been here, I've never seen this kind of corruption before. And it's depressing. It really is depressing. I talk to friends and neighbors, and so many people share my concern and shame for the city right now. We have elected representatives, people that we have elected, who feel they're too good to live with us. They live out in the suburbs. They'll drive a half an hour to come in here and sit on council and make decisions for us, but they feel they're too good to live with us. They claim they live here, but their families live out in the suburbs and they maintain a home here. Whether they live there or not, that's questionable. Investigators have said they don't. I'm not sure, but I am sure that I don't like that situation. Other members have been harvesting ballots. They've been out. It's purported, and I know there's investigations going on that certain council members have actually been buying absentee ballots and filling them in and submitting them. I don't know the 100% the truth of that, but the allegations seem significant and it is being investigated. There are many other things that I've seen. The police chief, who was just put on leave, I liked him. I met him. He's a very personable guy. I thought we had a gem. And now I read all the things he's done, or alleged to have done, over the years. And our city manager put him on paid leave during investigation, and consequently he was put on paid leave as retaliation. This just smacks of corruption. Okay, in answer to your question, I mean, I've answered it probably more than you wanted to hear. I could go on, but I know you don't want me to. So, I mean, that's it. I want to make changes here.
So, if elected, what changes would you introduce?
Well, I think we need some restrictions on, or at least some protections for. I know we have in our city ordinances a restriction on council people that must live in the city. They must maintain a residence here. Well, obviously that hasn't quite worked. Okay, so I would like to see some additional requirements before somebody files for election. I think they need to sign a sworn affidavit that they not only live here now, but they and their immediate families have lived here for at least a year. They can't have just moved here, and their families can't live out in the suburbs somewhere. They need to be part of the community, or they should not be representing us. They should not be calling the shots for people who do live here. In terms of, that should be accompanied by penalties if they're found to have violated that. Because right now, I mean, it doesn't appear there's any penalties. We've got several council people who have not only violated that, but other functions, other violations such as vote harvesting and what have you. And the entire council unanimously let them off the hook, said they can remain on council and they can run in the next election. Okay, so obviously there's no real consequence for these actions. I think there needs to be. I think it falls in the category of voter fraud, and I think they need the penalties for voter fraud in the state of Michigan are as much as 4 years in prison and $2,000 fine. Faced with the potential of that, I think people would hesitate to lie about where they live and buy votes. I think those would be gone. And it may be tough. I mean, if I'm elected, okay.
Let's move on, though.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll
if elected, would you have enough time to dedicate to this position?
I will take the time. It's going to be hard. Like I say, I run a business. I wake up at 4 in the morning. Okay, I try to get to bed by 8, but it seldom happens. And I'm a busy guy. But this is important to me. This is the city I love, and I see it falling into the sewer of corruption, and I can't let that happen. I will dedicate whatever time is necessary to make this happen. Yes.
Have you taken time to present some of your concerns to the city council?
Well, I did. I was at one council meeting, and when I basically said the things that I just said about folks living in the suburbs and about vote harvesting and whatnot, and it expressed my discontent. I only have 3 minutes at one of those meetings, so that's basically all I said. The council people, they just got quiet. They didn't say anything.
How do you get along with the diverse population of the city?
Very good. I have friends, just about every nationality. On my block alone, there are 8 nationalities. I have of the 3 major Muslim nationalities in Hamtramck. I have very close friends in all 3. And they're very different Muslim populations. The Yemenis, the Bangladeshis, and the Bosnians. And I have many Bosnian friends, many who are supporting me now in this campaign. And I have some pretty close Bangladeshi friends who have businesses here, as well as Yemeni friends. And in addition to that, I have friends across the spectrum. There are some Polish people, Albanian people, Macedonian people. They're really, yes, I have friends from all over the world here in Hamtramck, and most of them are very supportive.
Are you somewhat familiar with the U.S. Constitution, the state of Michigan Constitution, and the city charter?
Maybe not as much as I should, but yes. I went to school like everybody else, and but I mean, it was a long time ago, and there are many facets of the U.S. Constitution that I do know and understand because I read a lot. Okay, and I read the newspaper every day, and so all of the constitutional issues that come up in the course of events in this country, I'm aware of, and so to that extent, yes. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, and the details, no.
Okay. Are you willing to participate in seminars that educate the public officials how to proceed?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the workings of the city budget and finances in general?
Not very well, but I know your next question. I'll wait for it.
Well, actually, we're not going into the detail because this is only a general. Being in business, you probably have some familiarity with finance.
Oh, sure, I do. Yeah, I have a business license here in Hamtramck, and to that extent, I understand the finances. And there are other things I understand as well that I know people, I read, but detail, I'm not an expert.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone expects you to know the details,
Right.
but the basics. Yeah.
Yes.
Does your family or friends support your endeavor?
Oh yeah, yes. Right now, my family. I have 4 daughters, but they're scattered around the country. From New York City to St. Louis, they're all over the place. And I've told them about it, and they're excited. My wife and I live together now. We have a home here in Hamtramck, and she's very supportive. Yeah, she's very active in the community too. She's a florist and a landscaper, and she does a lot in Hamtramck, and so she's supportive of me being more involved in the council.
How difficult would it be for you to create an organization that will give you a good basic campaign for this position?
Well, actually, I'm not putting together an organization. You're looking at the organization right now. I have some friends I've talked to, and I had a lot of signs made up. I've got 20 of them in the ground this past weekend, and I've got friends that are looking for addresses for me, making contact with people. Like I say, I have no people all over Hamtramck, and so that kind of spider webs out. And when I filed for the non-reporting filing, which means that I can't collect or spend more than $1,000 in the whole campaign. With the artwork for the signs and the signs themselves, I'm already at $600 and some, and it's all come out of my pocket. I'm not collecting money from anybody. I've turned it down. People want to donate money, and I say no. So that's it. It's a small campaign, but I think it'll be effective. There's a lot of people that respond. My motto, which is on the sign, is fight corruption with Russ, and that's the goal. And everybody I talk to seems to come on board with that. I haven't gotten any pushback so far. Nobody likes what's going on in this town right now. So organization, I don't think I need one.
Is there any special message that you would like to relay to the voters of Hamtramck?
Yeah, let's fight the corruption together. That's my message.
And final words?
Final words? Well, I don't know if I'm going to get elected here. The thing is, over the years, I remember back in St. Louis and here, many times people have suggested that I run for public office. And every time I put up my hand and I say, I'm not a politician, I will never run for public office. Well, I've just belied that. I'm running because I feel I have to. I don't like what's going on here, and I don't see anybody, well, I do see people fighting it, but I want to be part of the fight, okay? I want to help drive the resolution to this, because what's happening now will kill this city if we don't stop it. There are many people here who are very angry about this, and it needs to turn around. I'm here to be part of that.
Thank you very much for the interview.
Okay, thank you for interviewing me.